he should do to say he's done it all.
He won that championship. That was it.
Everything. He's done everything. He's scored a lot of assists.
The only thing that can cap off his career is becoming Mr. Basketball.
So why is it that when I watch Juwan Odom, did I feel like he's the best player? Every time I watch Juwan Odom play, I feel like I'm seeing something special. Like I'm seeing something that I'm not gonna maybe not see again. I said that for a long time. BJ Boston was my favorite high school player in Georgia. I don't get that feeling that I'm seeing something I'll never see again. Yo, it's the Love the Game podcast. It's Thursday night. We back in the building.
Yes, we are. What's going on?
What's happening? I
mean, nothing.
Always got to see what man. Y'all got me resigning. Where am I resigning from? Hey, listen. We there have been some negotiations with different people, and I'll leave it at that.
That's good.
All is well for Love of the Game. I will tell you that the rumors of our demise are untrue.
True story. Just out here in these streets working. That's all we doing.
Bigger and better things coming, man. Takes me a long time. I'm not always really good at this. So
upward growth is always good.
Check about however long is in the Range Rover. Hey man, I do wonder if women are leaving things in Bryce's vehicle intentionally. Is Bryce at that stage? I shouldn't be talking about another man's pockets when he ain't here, right?
Well, or giving people ideas. I mean, the pocket don't really bother me as much as the ideas do.
I feel like she might have left some like bobby pins or something. It's always something subtle. It's never like anything massive. It's subtle, something that you might not really look for, like a hair tie or something.
Yeah, and you can't get away with it and be like, "Oh, I coach girls," because everybody knows he doesn't.
Don't get caught up in here. Bryce should be coming in here in a second. Social lock, man. This is wild. Hey, we're gonna have some fun, man.
First of all, shout out to all.
Hey, Dave, don't read his text message. You early, bro.
Oh, I know, bro. I know. I just locked in. I was actually watching.
Well, I'm gonna bring you in since you early.
I was watching Pitt versus North Carolina, so you good?
Y'all losing?
Come on, man. Chill out.
I getting smacked.
Whoa, y'all lost already, didn't y'all?
Man, come on, man. We first in the ACC and Coastal Conference. Y'all quit hating.
Everybody 0-0. I respect it. Everybody 0-0. I respect it.
Like I said, we trying to do something this year. We trying to get to a New Year's Six bowl.
Nah,
hey, man, you guys... Wait. Y'all, hey, man, stop it. Stop it.
Hold on. What you saying?
Stop it.
Oh, man, I know you ain't about to say what I think.
When's the last time y'all been good? When's the last time Perkins been good?
Oh, here we go.
Hayward did play for them at one point, but
hey, and he was a monster.
I'm not. Whoa! I'm not discrediting the fact what he did.
Dave got to relax.
I was like, it's been a long time since y'all been.
Yeah. Listen, I can't argue on that. You're right.
It's been a long time since y'all been, man. So
we've been through a couple coaches. Things ain't been kosher, so we're getting back to it.
I mean, and in all reality, Pitt to me should never go through this struggle because they end the football producing part of the country of Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
Right. So I don't understand, and I've never understood.
Well, yes, you do, Alfonso. There's one reason why. Where do they all go?
To that other school in the state.
Exactly.
But even when that other school had his issues, they still couldn't out recruit him, and that's the problem.
Hey, bro, look at Bryce, man. Bryce, you repping.
Oh, he at the house?
Hey man, don't y'all play today?
Play what?
Morehouse plays today. Got a basketball game right today.
Play what?
He said, "Play what? Play a money game, man.
Basketball, man.
They play a money game."
I'm just kidding. Shit, I don't know.
I
Listen,
think y'all got a basketball game. Hold on, I'm looking it up. I
the
think
only
y'all have a
Morehouse,
game,
only Morehouse game I really be checking for is when we play Clark. That's it.
Yeah, I was about to say this is the AU game, baby. The CAU game.
We played what
No,
Georgia
y'all
Tech
don't
the
play
other day.
today.
Then we played UGA. So yeah, it's probably
Yeah, they played UGA the other day.
Hey man, hey y'all play. I mean,
Hey,
y'all
those
play-
are good money games because I know
Good money
when Miles played Kentucky, they got 20 bands off that.
Yes, they did.
If
Should've
you
got
want to
more.
speak about
Yeah, they
money,
should have got more. Yeah.
you want to speak about money games. Did y'all look at Prairie View's schedule? They
No, I
coming
didn't.
back with a bang.
No,
They
but
don't
I
play at
mean,
home. They don't play at home until January.
well, when Texas Southern had Mike Davis there, they did the same thing. Mike Davis made $1.5 million for the school and another probably $500,000 for himself. But that's just neither here nor there.
Yo, hey, did you just put that man pockets out in the street like that?
Hey, it's public knowledge. I didn't put it out there first.
Hey, yo.
I just wasn't counting it.
When
Hey,
I looked at the Prairie View schedule, and Fonzo, these are money games. These are all Power 5 games.
Oh, I know.
So
Oh,
they
man.
got
They getting lumped upside the head for 2 racks, 200, 300.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
this
mean,
schedule,
that's all it is.
this
You looked at the
schedule,
schedule?
I'm
No,
on
I haven't looked at the
Prairie View.
schedule.
I'm on it now, D.
Mm-hmm.
St. Mary's
Mm-hmm.
was Tuesday.
Yep.
Tomorrow they have San Francisco.
Yep. That's probably the lowest paying game right there.
Saturday they've got Michigan.
Yep.
Sunday they turn around back. Okay, so this is the crazy part for me.
They go
right?
coast to coast, and I don't like that part of it
I don't
Yeah.
either. How can
because that's
you
an
play
extra.
Michigan?
That's the money. Some of that money is going to go eventually towards that to cover them fees later on.
For
That's
sure.
not true, Fonzo, because I thought those big schools pay for them to come, right?
But my thing, but D, this is my thing, bro.
Don't know.
It depends on the school.
Correct.
How can you play Michigan in DC on Saturday and then turn around and play Oklahoma State in Stillwater
Why
at
not?
2:00 on
Wait a
Sunday?
minute. Why are they playing Michigan and DC?
It must be
Fam.
some classes.
Fam.
Yeah, it got to be a classic.
Hey,
Event.
check out this lineup.
So that's not a money game if they're playing them in the classic, other than the tournament is giving them some money.
That's
They-
Because if it's a classic, it shouldn't be an actual money game paid by the school.
And Prairie View. I want to make sure our listeners understand.
and Prairie View is not a
really
bad.
good.
They're not bad. They're
They're a
pretty
good
good.
basketball team.
Yeah,
This is a team fighting to get to the NCAA tournament. This is a
yeah,
good basketball.
absolutely.
But they play on the 9th, the 11th, the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Okay, they're no longer student athletes. Let's move on. I mean, it's the facade and the charade of these are student athletes, so they're not.
Yeah,
Especially not during basketball season. They're not.
This lineup is Michigan on the 13th, Oklahoma State in Stillwater on the 14th, then over to Lubbock, Texas for Texas Tech on the 15th. And then on the 17th, you out to Phoenix, Arizona to play Grand Canyon.
Which, by the way, it's a beautiful campus at Grand Canyon. They got
Absolutely.
2 swimming pools in the middle of campus.
dang. And they're D1 now, right, Fonzo?
Dan Marley used to be the head coach of him.
And the student section goes crazy.
Go stupid out there.
Really?
They go crazy. Well, I know when Dan Marley was there, they did. I hope they.
I mean, no, it's and where it's located, make sure you lock everything.
Like Chicago State.
I'm just going to tell it to you like it is, baby. I've been on that campus. I was like, oh, this is how they do it out here. Okay.
They found a hood in Phoenix. I didn't know
Oh,
there was one.
there's several.
No, hold on. There's
No,
a couple.
hold up. There's several,
yeah.
homies.
Yeah,
There's several, homie.
Y'all schooling me on that.
Nah, Phoenix.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't get fooled by the cactus
Yeah.
tree. That's all I got to tell you. Don't get fooled by the cactus because the scorpions will come and get you.
I want to check in on some college basketball while we on this, man. Have y'all caught any games, man? Y'all see? I know Bryce has watched like 37 games.
Hey.
Bryce.
I'm
What
on
you
overload, bro. I'm on overload. You know what kind of making me mad though? You know, I'm paying ESPN $7 a month, and I can't open multiple tabs because I was literally trying to watch 4 games at once, and you
Is
have
that
to
the plus? You
close it
got
out.
plus price?
Yeah, ESPN Plus.
I've
Yeah,
been meaning to get that too.
I was
let me tell
asking
you
Bright for
something.
instructions the other day.
Let me tell you something. It is so worth the $7
Really?
because even if you miss the game, you can go back the next day and watch it and replay
Man,
it.
I'm glad
And
you said that. I'm
yeah,
glad you
and
said
it's
that.
good. I mean, it's like for me, because I like to watch guys. Like I don't care what level it is. Like I watched Chase Ballard play when they played Kentucky with Miles,
How do you
even
do
though
it?
that was on TV. But I've watched a little bit of Presbyterian. I've watched a little bit of man, I don't even know. Upstate. While I was just clicking on whatever. I watched South Florida for a minute when they played Bethune-Cookman. The only thing is you just have to go out and to restart it to watch
Oh,
the
okay.
game, and
I got you.
it's literally like watching cable on your computer. So, but I mean, it's the most. It's worth it. Like I can't even. I would cancel my Netflix honestly
Oh,
if I had to choose. I would cancel my Netflix for basketball season.
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, Wheeler tough. Like he on ball defense. Whew.
Hey, I heard different reports on Severe Wheeler. I heard he was getting his shit smacked off the backboard. And
Okay, but here's the thing.
did he play solid or not? I didn't watch the game
Here's
at
the
all.
thing.
No idea.
Okay, I watched him twice now.
And I'm hating because he plays for Kentucky.
I watched him twice. He against Miles, the guards for Miles, like he was guarding Chase Ballard. And Chase, that's my guy. Woo! He
Gave him a
had
hard time.
a hard time.
Okay.
And then I watched them play against Duke last night or the day before, whatever it was. And he did the same things. But I think get to realize that Duke has 3 potential lottery or 2 lottery and 1 first round picks coming up in this year's draft. So yeah, he was getting blocked and shit, but he was also knocking down threes. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like that was the highest level game in the country, like Duke and Kentucky. So he's gonna be tough. He's tough.
Look, I can't even talk too tough about college basketball because y'all about to clown me when the Citadel knocked Pitt by 15, bro.
Well, that's what I thought. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's what I thought you was talking about at the start of the show.
Pitt's they saying they're gonna have a rough year.
Yeah, they are, man. They are.
I thought you was talking about that at the start of the year. That's why I was mentioning that everybody's undefeated right now. So my apologies. I didn't realize you was referencing to the football Panthers.
Why?
Hey, listen, you should have heard Dave.
Is Pitt down? Like, why would they?
You should have heard Dave when they hired Jeff Capel, bro. You should have heard him. Oh, son,
you don't like
Capel? You scored, dude. What? Hey, he was tweeting me the recruits every week, bro. Every week it was. Hey, we got him coming. It's on and popping.
Hey, I like Capel, bro. I like Capel.
Listen, Capel he's a great recruiter, but bro, we're having a problem with retention. Just real talk.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
We're having a problem with retention.
Yeah, he has brought in some guys. Yeah, but that transfer rule allows them to come and go. That's why you got to play the guys that you really want to keep. Honestly,
but here's the thing: Capel is. I hate to say this as much as this pains me. Yes, we're an ACC school, but bro, we're not getting ACC quality recruits.
You shouldn't be in the ACC. You should be in the Big East. Y'all should have never left. Let me get off my box right now. Let me get off my box right now.
Hold on. Now, I'm going to agree with you, Fonzo, but there's only one thing, and you know what it was that made them move. It was that football money.
Of course. Yeah.
But even I'm a Big East dude to the end.
But listen. But even the football has been kicked around literally.
Yes.
At Pittsburgh, they shouldn't be. They should have been in the AAC if nothing else.
But I mean, okay, but Fonzo, You want an AAC check or you want an ACC check?
No. I get why them, Syracuse, which again, they're getting kicked around that football field too.
Yeah.
All right, because the basketball program is going to continue getting ACC level players because Jim Boeheim's there, but the day he walks away, it's going to dip.
Yeah, it's going to dip. I want to see does Duke dip when Coach K leaves?
No,
because it's a different brand.
Duke has already been getting
disagree
recruits
with that,
already.
man.
Duke,
No, when I say here's the thing, here's what it is. It's
5 years before they're Indiana.
but
Shout
it's
out to
gonna.
y'all, see, I think they're going to bring it home. But it's going to be a great job.
I disagree because Duke is all about basketball. It's a basketball school. It's a basketball environment. The history is not leaving.
So is
Coach
UCLA.
K is going to continue to probably help recruit and be a consultant for them.
No, but
I don't see them
UCLA and Indiana, okay, they went through their spells, and the reason they did because the next hire wasn't the beloved son. Like Shire is the beloved son for Duke right now, because everybody thought it'd be Wojo, everybody thought it would be Johnny Dawkins, everybody thought it would be Tommy Amaker. But those guys have established their own programs, with the exception of Wojo. But the other two guys have established their own programs. They're not going to come in there and replace a legend. So Coach K still going to have his office upstairs.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He's probably not going to let that go. Shire's still going to probably have a little room in the back. You know, and
let me tell you why Duke never falls off. Duke never falls off because they play in the Champions Classic every year. They are going to be a primetime team every year.
It's the brand. The brand is what's going to keep them relevant.
Brotherhood. I watched the video yesterday where they had the drone flying through campus, and that shit lands on the gym in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Who the hell is not going to want to go there and play?
Listen.
Watched the whole video.
You know what's funny? Here's the funny
drone fly around campus, bro.
But here's the funny part about this too. The reason, and again, having been on that campus a lot to cover them, it's a brand to the point that they play in a 9,000 seat arena, and you always hear kids like, "Oh, I want to go to a spot because they got a nice arena." This and they play in a 9,000 seat arena.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're gonna sit there and tell me, that they got some other high tech facilities that they've rebuilt or they've built recently over the last 10 years. But they play in a 9,000 seat arena. So the brand is going to continue, and Shire is going to, and again, Coach K is not going to be that far where Shire can't make a phone call, or if he needs to close the deal for the kid, you know what I'm saying, to be able to get a recruit.
Anybody see Nolan Smith and Quinn Cook, and I think Shire might have popped in at McCutcheon on the radar. Come on, bro. They ain't going nowhere, bro.
Right.
They are not going nowhere.
Hey, I do have to ask this. Do y'all remember when Kentucky fell off? Do y'all remember the Billy Gillespie years?
Yeah, but those were the liquor years. Those were the liquor years, bro.
Okay. Oh, hey, I'm just saying it's gonna let me know.
And it did happen, but hold on. None of those guys were from within the family.
That's
no,
true.
they weren't.
North Carolina fell off because they hired within the family, but it was the wrong guy to hire. And then Matt Dory came along, and then it's like, okay, they were able to get it back on track.
Bro.
And then that's when they bought Roy. Because Roy didn't want to replace Dean Smith right away.
This is gonna be the thing.
Hey.
To me, this is the biggest test for Duke, right? Every program has had to go through this. UCLA had to replace a legend. Arizona's had to replace a legend. Indiana had to replace a legend. And we've seen different results, right? Kentucky was able to get through it. Kansas was able to get through it, right? And still remain on top. Yeah, I don't know about
Kansas was the only one that didn't have a major drop off, though.
For sure, Bill Self came and got busy.
Yeah,
I think Duke.
Well, he had some backing.
I think Duke does just as well.
He had some backing. What do you want me to tell you?
I think Duke does just as well, if not better, because they're getting younger guys that are going to relate to younger guys, and they've been in the program. I think they're going to be. I don't see Duke dropping off. They just got the dude from team final He's already committed to John
But
Shire.
Bryce,
I
but Bryce,
just want
here's
to
my
say,
thing.
be careful. Be careful. I saw Indiana when Bobby Knight walked out, right? They won a championship shortly after Bobby Knight walked out the door, if I'm not mistaken. That was the Jarrett Jeffries and those guys. Didn't they win in like
No.
No.
Indiana did not? I gotta look up the
Go
Indiana.
look it up because there is no
They
way.
went. I think they went Elite Eight or
Yeah,
something like
they
that,
still
but
got
they didn't win it.
that
No.
championship trophy in the
Yeah.
shelf. They still keep shining it like Georgia in their national championship, but I'm not gonna go there either.
Bryce, I'm not saying it's going to be a huge drop off. There's going to be some drop off. Y'all killing me if y'all saying Duke is going to win 30 games.
Bruh, they are still in. Duke is going to be in position to be in
I'm
the
not saying they're
limelight.
going to be 15 and 17. I'm not saying that. Bryce, you got to remember, Coach K has the bar set so high. So you're telling me a drop off? It's going to be a drop. So you're telling me they're going to win 30 games consistently?
I think Duke has
30
everything set up. They don't even win 30 games now. So you saying they don't win 30 games all the time now. They win
28, 27.
And my bad, Indiana went to the national championship.
Yeah, they didn't win.
They
didn't win.
The national championship.
Yeah, they didn't win. They didn't win.
I know Mary wasn't really,
but that wasn't.
I know, Adrian.
But they went.
Duke is going to be able to present these high major kids the same product.
Mike Davis took him to the national championship. They lost. He got fired 3 years later.
Yes. Yes.
You telling me John Shire and Nolan Smith, let's say John Shire in particular, has been studying under Coach K for the last 10 years. You telling me this man has
Bryce, this is what I'm saying, bro.
Come on, man. And
I'm not
saying they're definitely going to fall off, Bryce. I'm saying
Bryce, there's going to be a fall off, and I'm not saying it's going to be a 10-game fall off. So you're telling me something's wrong if they win 20 to 22 games?
It wasn't Kentucky that got Tubby fired.
You're saying if he comes in,
I don't necessarily consider that a fall off, though. A fall off to me is 10 to 15, 22 games. I don't necessarily think
but for Duke standard, you just said it. That's a fall off for Duke standard, Bryce.
That happened at Kentucky. I will say this, Bryce.
If Shire comes in next year and wins 22 games, 23 games, I don't see a problem with that, honestly.
I didn't say he's getting fired. No. I never said he was going to get fired. I'm just saying, Bryce, you can't expect the man to come in and win 27 to 30 games. He's going to win 20 to 22, 23 games.
They're still going to have the talent. Bro, ain't going to have to coach.
So you're telling me he's going to come in and win 25 plus games?
Come on, bro.
Bryce, so he's going to win 25 games.
Baby. This AAU Bryce right here, baby. This is the Bryce I love here.
Listen, and I'm a Coach K guy. When Coach K played Tech and my guy had a little unofficial visit down there, I went down there, watched him. I was in awe, taking pictures of Coach K. But come on, bro.
That's beautiful.
Come on, bro. I ain't got a coach like that.
I am gonna ask.
Bro.
I'm gonna go back to the history closest to me. If I remember correctly, Alfonso, keep me on record with this. Tubby Smith was winning 70% of his games. He was still winning the SEC. He was still getting around that 20, 21, 22, and they fired him.
Okay, so what does that have to do with John Shire? That's not going to happen to John Shire. You know that's not going to happen to Shire.
There's a lot of other intangibles coming from the thoroughbred state.
I just want to know if you were gonna say it, Alonzo. I want to know.
There's a lot of different things. That has nothing to do with the dubs and the L's because he actually was consistently that pace. I'm just gonna be real, like it's whatever. You know what I mean? But because he didn't deserve to get fired then. He ain't doing nothing wrong
one of the
there.
all-time greatest college teams. With 96,
he didn't do nothing wrong then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tubby didn't have 96. He had 2000.
They had when they brought
Rick Pitino had 96, right?
Look, they brought in Gillespie and he was unproven, and they still let him rock out until they was like they couldn't hide the cans that he was leaving on the recruiting trips. They couldn't hide the cans. Come on, man. Like, yo, it's whatever.
Hey,
You know,
listen,
like that's why Gillespie would still have that job.
Dr. Love on fire tonight.
Yo, it's like if whatchamacallit, if he would have won and still had that issue, they would have hit it. It would have gone unnoticed.
That's
But
true.
because he wasn't winning, is the reason why they got rid of him. Oh, yeah, because they used hey, he can't control himself.
Y'all telling me that this man John Shire ain't gonna be throwing a couple plays here and there, and then my man got Trevor Keels, he got
Bryce.
you know what I'm saying? Come on.
I'm not telling you that he's not, Bryce. I'm not telling you that.
Bruh.
I'm telling you that this is the toughest test for Duke that they've had
In a million years.
in a million years.
So Bryce, you're
million
saying they're
years.
going to win 25
But
games coming out the rip.
everything is so laid out. It's laid out.
There's
So-
no disagreement with that,
So
Bryce.
based on that,
You
Bryce.
can't lose.
So based on that, Bryce. Penny
Whoa,
Hardaway
whoa,
is
don't
winning
say
the national
can't.
title this year.
Huh?
Based
I
on
hear
what
you.
you're saying, that means Memphis is winning national title this year, right?
No, because it wasn't laid out for Penny like it was laid out for this guy that's coming into Duke.
It's
bro.
laid out for him this year.
No,
he got the
that's
roster, right?
no. He went and got him. This shit is laid out. It's laid out for him.
All right.
And Coach K probably still recruiting for the next class. He already got the dude from Team Final, the 5-star. Bruh, this shit laid out for him. All he got to do is they got 4 gyms in there. All they got to do is get to work, bruh. They
So
gonna
25
win
plus games, right, Bryce?
25 plus games. I bet a wing plate on it.
Lock him in.
Lock him in. Y'all heard it first.
I bet a wing plate on it. I don't
I
see
want- I
how.
want hot
I don't
lemon
see
pepper, Bryce.
how
I'm
he
taking
doesn't win 25 games. And maybe yes, this is his first time being a head coach. And that man played at Duke. I don't think he's going to be nervous like that.
I will say this, Bryce, and we'll move on. I agree. 25 is a great over-under for win total for this year. I agree. That's a great number. I don't think they'll get it, but I think that's a great over-under.
Bryce, I'm a Parmesan wing guy, just to let you know.
Man, how many you want? 15, 10, 20. Now, if you lose,
Hey, what you want?
I'm an STK guy. Strip steak.
Okay. Hey, but Dre, to answer Mr. Billingsley's question, no. And I said it on my tweet page, and I got fired up over that too. Newton's the best team to me.
Nah, bro, I disagree with that too.
Newton's the best team to me.
Nah,
We had this
bruh.
conversation back in June. with y'all.
Newton is not. Newton is. They're not gonna have the maturity to beat a team like Milton.
Bro. I don't know, Bryce.
I don't even think they're gonna beat Burtmar, bro.
Come on, man. Stop. Man, give me 2 wing planks on that, bro.
I'm gonna say
And I
this.
heard old boy they just committed. I heard he's just a football player.
Who?
I know who you're talking about.
Hey,
Hey, man. See, this is the type of content you get when we get time to have vacation. When you come back from vacation,
hey,
you get
I ain't
invested.
saying it. I ain't saying it.
Hey, listen, some people are gonna catch
I haven't
that.
even seen him. I haven't seen the boy play. I'm about to go check him out though.
Some people are gonna catch that, some people are not, and we're gonna keep it moving. But
Dre, who's the best team in Georgia?
who's the best team? Are we saying regardless of
Regardless of class.
Regardless of class.
Shit. Regardless of class.
While he's thinking on that, Mr. Warren, Dre and I will be in Houston to see that.
Yeah, we'll be in Houston. We'll be in Houston. So I'm gonna say this. Number one, I picked Grayson to win a state championship in June. I said it right here on the show in June before
Everybody rolled out, though.
I said it before all of this stuff start bubbling up. I watched them play one game in June. Was like, oh, this is your 7A champion right here. Now, partially, I said that. I'm be honest. Bruce is going to be tough for anybody to deal with.
Absolutely.
He's
Agreed.
going to be tough for any high school kid to deal with. And the reason why I picked Newton over Milton is because I felt like with Bruce signed and he squared away, with Chase Comier signed, he squared away. Kaden Carlisle's a top prospect. Like, their situations are all fine, and they already have a state championship under their belt. And I felt like Bruce may be looking ahead at the Big Ten and maybe not as hungry to win a state championship, being that he's already got one. So I picked the young guys. I feel like Newton is going to be more hungry than them.
But Jakai squared away though too, Dre.
He is, but everybody else is still. Well, no. Now they're
No,
starting.
one of them is making an announcement soon enough.
Yes, Stephon Castle. Yeah.
So, but they don't have a state championship. So I feel
That's
like
true.
they're going to be hungry to prove that. So that's why I picked them in that game.
What about you, Fonzo?
Look, I know a lot of people, and Coach Shep, I'm sure, is looking, but I personally think they lose a lot of pieces. But I really, again, Wheeler has shown to me that they can win with less. And you know what I'm saying? And sometimes, to me, that means a lot. You know, because they have Isaiah. You know what I mean? And listen, Pebblebrook is right there too now.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
So like, it's a wide open conversation. It's an ever flowing, fluctual conversation. But that's just, I like Wheeler's. I've always liked Wheeler's style. I mean, I like all the teams, but their style has always been fun for me to watch because, again, they win with guys sometimes that you have no idea that they're as good as they are until they get on the court, or you see them and you see what they do and you're like, oh, they're actually pretty good. And what you see in December is always different what you see in February.
For sure.
Especially with every program. But what I've noticed is Wheeler is that type. Like, what you see in December is nothing what you see in February. You know, it's not always the same team for various reasons. So
I got to ask y'all a tough question, but I'll let Bryce get in first. Go ahead, Bryce.
Hey, take yourself off mute, man.
The thing about, I got you. The thing about,
he's on mute.
Nah, I seen it. The thing about Wheeler, what you're saying is, you know, Larry, their defensive schemes are always trouble. So even if they only have one main guy or two main guys and four role guys, them guys are going to buy in on that defensive end. We've seen them be able to beat, you know, Kel with Scoot Henderson, which that dude going to the cup is like LeBron James, damn near, of high school basketball. So I can't put nothing past Wheeler, nothing, because they help side defense, and that defense, boy, they gonna be locked in.
Yep. And I'm a defensive guy, so that's my partiality. I'll just be real with y'all.
The other thing,
playing defense too. Shit.
I'm gonna say this. I think this is gonna be one of the best Final Four or Elite Eights in a while. If everybody we're talking about lines up and doesn't get upset, I think this will be one of the better Elite Eights in a while.
If all the good teams aren't lined up and playing each other, and I have to look at how that goes. But I do have a tough question for y'all. When we look at Wheeler, we always compliment Larry, but we also can freely compliment his coaching staff and say that, hey, that's the best top to bottom coaching staff in the state and has been for the last few years, even back to Chris Kramer, who's gone on to do his own thing. But when we talk George and Coach Harper over there, it's almost like mentioning that Coach Harper is a good coach is almost like a knock to George. That's how people take it. Yeah. Why is it that we can compliment Wheeler's coaching staff, we can't compliment Pebblebrook as a staff?
Well, I mean, I'll take that one. It's not. I never personally have, you know, because I know, and even just talking with George, he, you know what I'm saying, he's humble enough to understand that it is his whole staff. You know, I mean, you talk about, and Bryce even said it, with Wheeler it is those staff, but in reality, some of them kids got to actually put them egos aside and try to buy in. Sure. And that's the thing. And again, that's why even Pebblebrook has been successful in that sense. I mean, and I know what's the crappy part about it is, unfortunately, is like people are like, oh, we can't give two men. Yes, Mark Wahlberg is going to be out in Cali this year, but we got to learn. In reality, we just have to learn to look at the entire staff in many respects, because yes, we know there are staffs across the state that you have the head coach who may not, who's just there because whatever reason, right? And he has a solid assistant coaching staff. They're going to still credit them as well, and we just have to, it's complementary, in my opinion, when you look at what George has done, as well as with him having Harper there. It's a complementary to each other. I mean, and when you get a chance to talk to both of them individually, none of them really try to knock the other, because that's not what they're about.
100%.
They're about the kids, and they're about trying to make things work out the best way possible. Do they both have intensity and they're high powered and vocal? Yes, absolutely. But so does, again, if you have not sat behind a Wheeler bench to listen,
Hey,
it's a different conversation that takes place. And there's a lot of voices, but they all listen to one, and then the other guys sprinkle in a little bit along the way. And that's where I think, even with George and Harper there at Pebblebrook, they do the same thing. They do the same thing, because every coach that has taken a position this year, probably the first thing they're trying to figure out is who's going to join their staff.
Yes.
Who's going to join their staff, that someone is not only going to be able to work with them and work with the kids and develop the kids and do all the things, but more importantly, isn't a yes man. And that's the beauty about having a staff where you're going to have guys that you're going to agree to disagree. You're going to have arguments behind closed doors, and it's not going to be taken personal. The staffs that are terrible are the ones that it's taken personal, because, oh, he didn't use this out of bounds play that I suggested. It's like, come on, man.
The thing about Wheeler, man, like I don't get an appreciation. I'm just being honest. I don't get an appreciation for watching a bunch of high school programs, I should say. But like when I watch Wheeler, it makes me want to roll up my sleeves, roll up my shorts, and coach. It makes me want to, damn, bro. They move. Yeah. You see how they jump into the pass over there? They all shifting and rotating. The bench is clapping. The coach is engaged. Right, bro. And there's like Zoe said, your ego is checked at the door, because you're not gonna play here. If you have an ego, you can't play here.
Bro, you're not gonna play here, and you might not last there long as a coach to coach there.
Right.
We've talked about Wheeler on this show quite a bit. And Bryce, if you remember, on this show, before the first state championship, Wheeler was actually dropping a few games in a row. And we were on this show saying, hey, this team is playing better basketball than anybody. That was at the time that Grayson had the juggernaut. And we were saying, as a basketball team, as a full team, this was the best team. We were calling that.
Stops at the end of the day. Yeah,
absolutely. Long time ago. Beautiful basketball. There are some really other good teams. When you immediately ask me who is the best team regardless of classification, right? I cannot have this conversation without mentioning 3 teams. I got to mention Berkmar, right? To me, they have to be at least a part of the conversation.
They are.
I can't have this conversation without mentioning Pace. Just too much talent, size, and length, athleticism. And I can't have this conversation without mentioning Norcross. And I say that because when I actually picked Newton to win 7A, my backup team was Norcross. And I say that even though they lost Jakai Howard, I don't think anybody gets better losing a 5-star talented kid like Jakai Howard. People can say, whatever they want to about his game, but every kid has flaws in his game. He's a 15, 16-year-old kid. But a tremendous prospect, like next level prospect. But what I saw them do coming out showing some 131 and all that stuff with that length and athleticism and size. Like Norcross is a hell of a basketball team as well. No disrespect to Eagles Landing. They're going to
No,
be
but
really
look, like we talk about coaching staff, right? We talk about
yes.
being with. Look at Sherman White. He's had my guy Mason over there since his Miller Grove days. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And he's been his right hand guy the entire time. You know, and
Yep.
they've had success. You talk about Coach Phillips over there at Berkmar. He's surrounded himself with some quality guys. You talk about Jesse McMillan, who he's, you know, when I say groomed, has been able to help guys get to other schools and build other programs. And actually, Coach Phillips was at Norcross when they were both assistants, you know, at one point together. And those guys know how to build programs. All three of those teams that you mentioned, they're building programs. They're not building teams. And all the teams that we're talking about, they're building programs. Even
So,
Newton.
so Fonzo and Bryce, I specifically want to ask y'all this question. Dave, I don't think you were watching them yet at this point in time, but you know, if feel free to chime in. I could be crazy, and I'm gonna, for y'all to tell me that that's totally fine.
You're from Louisville, so we will.
I feel like this Norcross team, they're not more talented than the Lance Thomas, Jordan Goldwire team, but I feel like they're better. I'm crazy, Bryce.
No,
I just feel like they're better.
yeah, I was about to ask that. What makes you see that?
And they just lost a 5-star. So what do you mean they're better?
I'm gonna talk about that.
To me, I feel like,
By the way, those Donda jerseys are terrible. Anyway, proceed.
horrific. And I was trying to zoom in on the shoes and try to see the shoes.
To me, like
we can talk about
you
that
could have
later.
done better with it. But yeah, they're terrible. Anyway, go ahead.
I feel like this team is a team that buys into playing a role. And it's not a collection of talent. There's no BJ Boston coming way off the bench on this team. There's no Rashad Hammonds. And like you had all of those pieces. But I feel like on this team, they really buy into everybody just doing their
But
job.
Can I ask you a question? Who was on the roster other than the dang kid who's good? He's very good. Who else is on the Norcross roster? Because I don't know.
London Johnson has turned into.
Oh, okay. So London
player.
Johnson. They have the wing, the African kid. He's very
Yeah.
good. There's two very good pieces. Okay. They have a big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see why you say that point.
He's about 6'8", 6'9", big.
London Johnson
is figure it out.
They're young. They're developing.
Is extremely good.
No, but here's why you're not too far off in what you're saying.
You're not far off.
You're not far off, because the one thing, and this is not anything towards the kid, but sometimes there's addition by subtraction. All right, and sometimes when you're dealing with young kids or teenagers in today's world, you have a lot of them who do look over their shoulder and see someone's getting more talked about, whether intentionally done or unintentionally done. And if you have something where conversations, you could be with someone like, oh yeah, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be committed. Next thing you know, when you look up, the kid is gone or the person is gone, whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit there and soak on it. But having had a chance to talk to the Norcross players, Norcross coach Jesse, they have a different focus, and people gonna see that on the floor. It may not always equate to wins, maybe per se, but again, back to my conversations, that what you see in December is going to look different in February. And I think they're one of those teams that I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, they're a sleeper to win the state, because that'd be foolish. What I'm saying is that they're going to be a team a lot of people's going to see the growth, because they have some pieces who are there and some unknown pieces who, with what they do over there, and again, everybody applying their own skill training, they're gonna be all right. You know, I'm not gonna sit there saying Amadou squad and Amino squads that I'm not gonna call them those Norcross teams. You know, when
I wouldn't go that
Amino
far either. You're
was
right.
on there, or Jody Meeks, I'm not gonna call them those Norcross teams because I'd be foolish to say that. But to call them the teams that they got a chance to really make significant noise and really compete for a state championship, absolutely. I mean,
I like
Jesse's gonna hate me for saying that, but
Ballin kid too. I really like him. They could use a little more shooting, but I like that team a lot.
actually they got some shooting.
My man
They
Ryder,
have some shooting.
gonna be real upset at y'all. My man Ryder gonna be real upset that y'all not giving Burkmar no love. But I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave
Look,
it alone.
no. Hold on. We
What I
was
said,
just
though.
having one conversation at a time, sir.
Right.
They look. Berkmar
I'm
has
just
a
saying.
strong. Berkmar does have a strong schedule this year that they're going to be battle tested.
They got a strong
And-
squad too.
Yeah, and they got a strong squad with 3, 4, 5 guys that they're going to be playing on the next level. And the thing with Berkmar is exactly what we talked about. They're the Gwinnett County, version of what Wheeler is in Cobb. They are defensive-minded hound dogs, and you got Rideout, you got Fats. Those two guys up top have no quit in them. And then you got Malik in the middle.
But Fonzo, I like everybody misses the one guy that I really love. And it's funny you mentioned defensive minded. Man, that power forward that's like a football player. His
He's gone.
body.
He's
No,
gone. He
man, to
graduated.
me, that was the key right there.
No, he graduated. He graduated. He's
Man,
at Life.
I like
David.
that.
Yeah, he
David at
gone.
Life.
He's talking
Yeah,
about
David's
he's
at
talking about-
Life.
He's at Life. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
at
he at Life.
Mhm.
Man,
No, last year, yeah. No, you're 100% correct. Last year, pandemic or not, that joker was out there playing in these streets.
yes,
He
indeed.
didn't care about
Yes.
nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Man,
I'm not.
I
I'm
hate
not by
his
no.
guy.
No, if he was on this team,
Yes.
then that'd be a different conversation. Like if he was on this team right now, it'd be a different conversation.
He was one of my favorite players last year.
Oh,
He was
last
one
year,
of my-
absolutely.
We got any other high school news that we want to make sure we talk about before we move to the next thing?
I haven't dove into it, but we're gonna have to eventually talk about reclassification for next year.
Okay.
I haven't looked at it, but I'm just saying. I mean, there's gonna be it's the thing about it goes back to the state. The state is such a fraud sometimes that they don't. They talk about
I'm
these
glad
kids.
you said it. I didn't want to.
I listen. I'll be public enemy number one. It don't matter. Like it's Swazinger and them. They just don't give two rips about student athletes. And they're throwing people all over and this and that, and that's why some schools are trying to defect and do their own thing in another league. So, these people are they don't. I haven't had a chance to look at what the things are, but just based on some of the tweets I've been able to peruse, is they didn't do a lot of these coaches and schools any favors.
There has been some discussions about that and like every region not having the same amount of teams and
Correct.
yeah, it's a lot going on.
And it affects all sports. It just we just happen to be talking about basketball, but it affects all sports.
But doesn't it change again next year?
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
coming.
Next year it goes. Now, don't
They
quote
put
me
out
on
the
this.
changes already.
No, that's what I'm saying. They put out the changes for next year.
Yeah, they put them out already.
Now 7A is 2,000 plus or 2,050.
It all depends on who's doing the counting. And the people
And
at the
you can play
GHSA don't know how to count sometimes.
Right.
Okay. Because that was a big deal the last time about.
And it's a continued cycle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I hate to hear that, man, because I know what that means.
There's a lot of teams, like I said, I haven't had a chance to take a dive into it. I know it's out. I know for certain regions, in certain areas, it's going to be good because it's going to cut down some travel and things of that nature. But in other areas, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
It's going to be
I
terrible.
opened it and I started to look at it and got frustrated and I closed it.
But yeah, that's why I said I wasn't going to
Sorry.
try to dive into it right before the show because I'm like, it's something that I want to be able to look at, read at. You know, some of my kids, we might be doing exams tomorrow, so I'll be paying attention to these classifications.
So I do want to talk. Oh, congratulations are in order. We had Coach Octavia Blue from Kennesaw State.
First win.
And they got their first win. They're playing Georgia Tech right now, so I can check in on the score and tell y'all what the score is. But Kennesaw State beat Thomas University 100 to like 36 or something.
And that's what they're supposed to do.
And it's good to see Kennesaw State doing exactly what they're supposed to do. But great win for Coach Blue. I do want to shout out the men's program as well. They did take a loss to Iowa State, but hard fought game on the road. I think they lost by like 11 or something like that.
Okay.
So I saw some positive things from those guys. Starting lineup up for Kennesaw State, 4 Georgia kids, right? Terrell Burden, Youngblood, Stroud, and what's my other man's name? The JUCO kid, the transfer, Spencer Rogers. Sorry. We did see action from Kason Jennings. So Kason Jennings played well as well. So big shout out to those guys. If you saw the interview, Bryce asked the magic question to Coach Blue, which was about her playing style. She mentioned wanting to score more points, wanted to be more up tempo, and get out and run and be a style that people wanted to see. Well, scoring 100 points, that's probably going to bring some more eyes to your program. So congratulations to them.
But one thing on another collegiate note, which I don't think it's being discussed, but I think we should bring it up here. What Dawn Staley has done to motivate the women's
Yes.
African American women coaches across the country, head coaches across the country.
That was
what she's
move.
doing. What she's doing is, as someone tweeted out earlier, and I agree with this, we need to protect Coach Staley at all costs because that woman is a pioneer, and she is setting an example for many. That again, many coaches may not win a national championship. Let's just be real. But the fact that she was able and decided and made a commitment to cut pieces of the net and send it to the head coaches, black women head coaches, the black women coaching basketball in college as head coaches. I mean, it's something that you don't see. That's, as people have said, Chelsea Murray Johnson said, like, you know, that's a servant leader. That's someone who's leading from the front, not looking for the praise, but giving of herself to be able to share whatever knowledge she can. And her journey, her realizing the journey of her to the top isn't just about her. There's so many people in this profession that are trying to get to where she's at, and she's sharing it with them. So that's hats off to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very true. Very true. I did check in on the Georgia Tech score. 72-45. That's the end of the game. Looked like we had a tough time shooting it. We only shot 37%. 0 for 6 from 3. So we had a tough time shooting the ball against Georgia Tech. But the women, Kennesaw State's women, will be back in action on the 15th on Monday, playing FIU.
At home?
They'll be at home. Hopefully I'll get a chance to catch a couple of those home games. We got a good question, and we can get ready to wrap up on this one. I think this will be one for Bryce. This question is from Charlie Wagner. It says, why does APS suck in basketball? I'm an out-of-towner. Most of the talent is either in other counties, Cobb, Gwinnett, etc. Why is that? Bryce?
I don't know why you would want me to answer this question. But
aren't you an APS employee?
No, sir. Fulton County. I think that
My bad, B. You right. My bad.
I mean, I think it has to do with people living in the surrounding counties and not living in the city.
Mhm.
I mean, I think about the cost of living to live in Midtown and
Yeah.
go to Grady or Midtown High now. You got to think about the cost of living for Maynard Jackson. And so I think that's part of it. And I think there's another side of it as well for the other types of schools in that district. So, I mean, it depends. And you got to think about it. Like we had a couple years ago where you had Therrell High School who had a solid run when they had Anthony Edwards and they had Robbie and they had a whole bunch of guys coming in through the system. So it just depends. But I think a lot of it, like I said, I think it's where people decide to move and live when they move to the state or whatever the case may be. I think a lot of people move to Cobb County. I think a lot of people move to Douglas. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people move to Gwinnett. The schools, you move for the school system, and I think that kind of hurts.
Let me ask, because I'm gonna ask Bryce and Fonzo on this one. You guys might know, Dre, you might know. Like, but what about like your Dougs and Washington Highs? Like, they used to have proud tradition. You know what I'm saying? And like to this question, you don't really hear about them. You don't really hear about them. They're not on that scene. And listen,
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I think sometimes too, if you have a kid that's that good that might go to a city school,
they're going to get picked off.
They start
Yes,
to
you're
get
right.
picked off,
Yeah,
and they end up at a Woodward. They end up at the Paces in the city private schools.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's basketball. First of all, basketball is tough, especially for high school, to keep those guys in the building, and because on the first day of school, you're looking around hoping that everybody's in there, and even sometimes they still leave. So for APS, it's even tougher because, like I said, there's so many different options of if I'm that good, well, I probably can go to another.
Well, and they also, if they see that in those surrounding counties, including within the county at Fulton somewhere, they look around, they're like, wait a minute, those guys and teams and whatever they're doing, they're getting people into school, they're getting them seen in some other stuff, they're doing some other things. That's attractive now for not only just the kids, the families, So, and again, demographically, if someone that says, okay, if I can pay whatever rent is or mortgages and taxes are in APS areas, I can also then go just a few miles outside of those areas and get more bang for my buck, and put them sometimes in a better situation, whether it's academically or athletically. Because you even have people that are moving an hour north, okay, and making the commute into downtown, just because they're getting more bang for their buck, and people are spreading out further and further.
People spread out.
And again, I'm not saying that those schools are going to disappear. It's just it's going to be difficult to keep some neighborhood kids.
It's tough.
It's going to be difficult to keep some neighborhood kids. I mean, look, we just said Anthony Edwards, who dropped 48, by the way, last night. Let's talk about it. He went from there to Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
That really was nothing prior to him getting there.
I'll even give you one even deeper. Madison Durr.
Yes.
Lives in Therrell's district.
Yes.
And I was just getting ready to touch on that.
And then ended up at Pace. So, and I hate to throw his name out there, but it's just another scenario of like, you know what I mean? Like,
and Fonzo and Bryce, I'm glad you said that.
And go to St. Francis. It is what it is.
I'm glad you both said that. Think about if Therrell and Tri-Cities, that area right there, could keep their players, we'd be talking about them in the same sentence as Wheeler, right?
But unfortunately, the demographics financially and
demographics is still different.
Socioeconomically is
yes.
And that's because again, if they provided some of these schools the same budget across the board, yes, you might have better situations at APS. You might have better situations at any of the inner city schools.
Yeah.
You know, because you just have these other issues. Because let's not, you know, I always look at it. Sometimes the school isn't terrible. It's the situations that happen in there. So
Yeah.
people are like, man, why deal with this? And especially if you manage to,
So many high schools you can
yeah,
go
and you got so many high schools, so many situations, and again, every single one of us here grew up somewhere that was a little rough, and we moved for a reason. You know what I mean? We moved for a reason, and 2 out of 4 of us have kids here that you like. Okay, you didn't stay in your respective hometowns. Granted, job, career, and all these things, but even if you would have stayed in your respective hometown, you might have moved to another school district
Absolutely.
or a little bit further out because you're like, yo, I don't want you to experience what I experienced.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what happens. So like even when people move, like my man who said he's in out of town, which he isn't, but you know, when people move, when people just like, oh, I'm moving to Atlanta, but in reality, they're moving to the outskirts. There's very few people actually physically moving to Atlanta.
in the city of Atlanta, right?
Yes,
They're
there's very
in
few people.
County, they're in Douglasville, they're in
Yes,
Smyrna, they're in
Fayette County. They, you know what I'm saying? They're just in other places that Atlanta's just the one city that everybody knows how
they're
to.
not living off of they're not living in the Fourth Ward, going to Midtown High.
Nope.
So do you all associate, take out APS, and I know we're running over real quick, Clayton County? Do y'all associate the same problem with Clayton County as APS?
I think Clayton County's issue is it goes further south than the airport than what people want to.
Well, Clayton County's problem is Clayton County.
And it's Clayton County, yes.
That's what Clayton County's problem is, Clayton County.
Yeah.
And it has nothing, there's not a knock on the schools. Clayton County's problem is Clayton County.
Yeah, Clayton County is tough, boy.
Lots of issues.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of things that some grown adults are making some poor decisions that unfortunately it's affecting an entire county as well as community.
Yes.
And the only reason I asked that, you know, I took the dive down there to start looking at some of the schools.
I'm sorry.
I went down there to start looking at some of the schools.
You really do.
Hey man, what's wrong with you, Zo, man?
Hey, listen, I call it what it is, bro. Look,
I went down there because
I got offered 3 jobs with 3 times more than what I make now. I was like, nah, I'm cool.
But I went down there just to see, you know, I want to see some of the teams because let's call it what it is. Like when you look on Twitter, you see Gwinnett, you see Cobb, and you see North Fulton, basically, right? I mean, you see a little bit of DeKalb here and there. So I was like, let me go down there and give them a little press and see what's, man, they got some ballers, man, just like the rest of Atlanta does.
Well, I think one thing with Clayton County though is, and you have some coaches like my man down in Money's Mill, like you got some coaches now that are starting to understand that, and this goes the same thing with Middle Georgia, South Georgia, to me, right? You got to go where the money is. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that figuratively, right? Like when you see Money's Mill start coming up, yep, we playing in TLC or we're playing in the Champions Classic. We're playing, like, you got to come up and play. And I do remember North Clayton jumping in Huff's event when he headed at Holy Innocents. Like you gotta put them out there, man. You gotta go play, and always not necessarily the biggest or best event, but you gotta get up this way. You gotta let people come and see your kids. You can't. It won't always be easy or comfortable, and it won't always be fair either, because sometimes you have to travel more than other teams have to travel, right? But I mean, we saw what Evans did at Lemon Street.
You're right.
Evans drove from Evans to Lemon Street, played
and didn't stay, Dre. Went back home. Yes,
it was a school trip. It was a school trip. Come on,
yeah, because the school would
wheels on the bus go round and round.
The school, for whatever reason, would not fund them to stay in hotels, so they drove, and they made the drive every day.
Yeah,
right. Now, by the end of the tournament, did they get killed for it? Yes, they didn't have any legs, you could tell, but they did it. They got their kids a lot of great exposure. We know who Devin Story is. We know who Josh Mincy is. They went on a run because of it. Their kids got a lot of exposure because of it. So, guys are going to have to do it, whether they like it or not.
Good point.
I want to let's end on this one. This is a good question. Nolan, Tubby, John, Ali, Will a black coach win a national title anytime soon?
What? With anytime soon? What's anytime soon?
Let's say next 3 to 5 years. That's fairly soon to me.
I'll say this: Juwan or Penny will get to the Final Four.
I don't. Yeah, it's tough, man. You know how hard it is to win. That's what championship, bro. Like, that
yeah.
shit damn near impossible.
Jawan
That shit
Howard
damn near
and Penny probably got the best chances right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think Memphis has a great team this year. Michigan, great team, great coaching. I still think Duke wins.
There you go.
Like, I'm not a Duke fan. I'm not a Duke fan.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I understand you're not.
Hey, they are.
So this is gonna be the Disney final that everybody that's a Duke fan wants.
This gonna be
Coach K's last run. Coach K's last run, and they're gonna go ahead and hoist the trophy. The basketball universe is gonna let them hoist it up one more time.
Right, it's gonna be impossible. It's gonna be impossible to beat Duke this year. They're gonna go 45-0.
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna toss out. I'm gonna toss out just a couple of names. Not saying that they're going to, just tossing out a couple of names. Hubert Davis at North Carolina. Mike Woodson is at Indiana. Shaka Smart.
It's gonna be a while for any of those. It's gonna be a while.
None of them do. None of them are. That's tough.
And I like Shaka, but like you said, not soon.
But Juwan Howard and them, Juwan Howard and Anthony Hardaway. Penny Hardaway. Like they literally have the squads right. What I say right now, even in the next 4 years to do it.
Yeah,
those guys are basically at situations where they're basically building programs.
I think the closest is definitely Penny.
I think Juwan Howard would be.
Yeah, I think Juwan.
Yeah, but I still think it's very unlikely. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough to win.
Yeah, and that's why I said Final Four.
I'll give them Final Fours all day.
When Juwan Howard wins it, they're gonna put back all the numbers for the Fab Five, baby.
Juwan Howard is actually, you know what? Juwan Howard is, and I'm gonna say two things, and I'm done. Juwan Howard is a better coach than he was a player, and he is a better NBA college coach than most.
Yes,
because most of them cannot coach.
But you got to think.
Keep it up.
No, you're right. But you got to think. He actually sat on an NBA bench and did everything that you can do. That even whether he would have taken a pro job or a college job, he was ready for it.
Yeah. You still got to have
one other thing, though. One other thing. He brought in Martelli to help him.
Yeah.
Build that program, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because and actually, I don't even necessarily think about building the program. If you really want to keep it a buck, is understanding the landscape of recruitment and doing this, because again, he spent all that time in the NBA. He knew about his kids being recruited, but he doesn't know the ins and outs of recruitment, which is what has killed a lot of guys who make that move. I mean, which is what hurt Chris Mullin a little bit at St. John's.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, recruiting is a grind. And some of them just want to coach. And I'm like, I get it, but you got to do the other things. And the other things in college basketball, in college athletics and below, including high school, is a lot of other things that have nothing to do with coaching. So you got to want to be able to meet a booster, go talk to the small booster alumni base that's in Flint, Michigan, and go down to South Beach and talk to the Miami, Michigan, fan base, or whatever the case may be, or go to Chicago, talk to those people. Those are things that are, and then understand how to interact with high school kids. The reason Penny was successful, because he came from middle school all the way on up. So he knew these kids and their families.
Yeah.
And then, Penny got the GOAT, Larry Brown, right now, who hates freshmen. But, Larry Brown knows the landscape now of again, college basketball. If he doesn't know it, who does?
He's just an all-around good coach. Way, man.
So the thing about it is being able to when I say relate, again, half of these kids don't know who the Fab Five are. All right. So him saying like, yo, I'm Jawan Howard from yeah, they could look him up and I played for the NBA with the Heat and all this other stuff. Yeah, but he's got to be able to still sell them on the things that are important on the college campus. So Martelli knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Martelli's been doing it. Larry Brown, again, like you just said, have been doing it because Penny's got Larry Brown, and then another guy that these kids can relate to is Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's and again, it goes back to building a staff, and that's a staff and a half. You got some NBA pedigrees on there that kids can Google and be like, oh, wait, Rasheed Wallace was that dude. You know, and he's got the championship rings to show them. You know, and that's one thing when you have, excuse me, when you have some of these guys who are coming from the NBA, if they don't surround themselves with guys who understand the landscape of hitting the road, recruitment, knowing what events to go to, knowing this, knowing that, you're gonna fall short. You're gonna fall short sometimes.
It's definitely going to be tough if you can't recruit, if you can't get kids.
I mean, look, even if you think about the kids that have signed and committed with Michigan, 3 of them from Florida, 2 of them happen to be his kids. And the other one is a kid who was cool with his kids. And he knows them because he played on Knight Riders.
Same team that Bryce beat. Hey, I'm gonna throw up this.
They try to take it off my record like Fab 5 too, bro. Forget about it.
I will put up the schedule, man. This is where we are this weekend. We'll be out watching in Houston, Texas, watching some basketball. Here's a schedule, Dave. Any teams outside of Newton and Grayson that you want to
yes,
talk about here?
Grayson playing the I school. The I school is pretty good. Also, Sean Dumas Academy is pretty good, as well as the sports. Actually, the tournament director shouted out Big Time Sports and said that they're pretty good. I've seen Link Academy play already. They're good. I don't know about the Legacy SS team, but I know Link Academy is pretty good. Concordia Lutheran has they got their hands full with Grayson, but their point guard, I actually made him my player of the week a couple weeks ago. His name is Trey Miller. He's a 6'3" guard. I think he's going to open some eyes. He's a 6'3" point guard. And he can go.
Good deal.
He played with Team Harden, but when Team Harden, when COVID hit, Team Harden shut down, and then he went to another AAU program. I think it was Booz Elite.
Good stuff. Looking forward to some good basketball. I'm looking forward to seeing at Link Academy for the first time because we were our first time this year being able to see them. So I'm looking forward to that. But some good basketball out there in Houston. There's also another event going on in Dallas where Donda Prep will be playing in Dallas. Yeah. You'll be able to catch that, I believe, on SUV TV. So if you head over to SUV TV, you'll be able to take a look at that schedule. I want to say, I think I got the picture somewhere. I do. Okay. So Coppell versus Vertical Academy at 4 p.m. This starts tomorrow. So at 4 p.m., Coppell will be playing Vertical Academy with Mikey Williams. Donda will be playing Premier. McKinney versus Wagner, and then Link versus iSchool. So we'll get it looks like Link and iSchool are playing in.
iSchool's good, man. They're good.
They'll be playing each other in the event on Friday, and then we'll get a chance to see them on Saturday. So that's the schedule. Be sure to check out SUV TV to check out the battle in Dallas, and then the OTR tip-off in Houston will be Saturday, and you can catch that on Baller TV. All right, that's our show. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for rocking with us. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
We out.